For John Anthony West, scientist, visionary, friend.
Nikola Tesla believed that he could harness the energy from inside the Earth and transmit that power wirelessly around the world. His early experiments were successful, but his research mysteriously vanished after his death. There is no evidence left of Tesla's wireless power technology. Or is there? For years, we were taught that the Great Pyramid of Giza was a tomb for a king. It wasn't. It had a different purpose. Tesla didn't invent wireless power. It's been here for 5,000 years, and probably a lot longer than that.
I thought Tesla like the car. I thought you meant Tesla like the cars, like from Elon Musk. It was actually a scientist. Okay.
Why were the pyramids built?
Storage for dead mummies?
Yeah,
Dead mummies?
A tomb.
It's a tautology.
Mainstream Egyptology says that the Great Pyramid of Giza is a tomb built for Khufu, the 4th dynasty Egyptian pharaoh who ruled 4,500 years ago. But the Great Pyramid doesn't have any characteristics of other Egyptian tombs. The Great Pyramid contains no artifacts, no hieroglyphs, and no elaborate wall art. It's been argued that the granite sarcophagus found in the king's chamber once contained Khufu's
Is there really traps in the pyramid? There is, right? Right?
mummy. There's no evidence that a mummy was ever there. No mummy has ever been found in any pyramid, ever. Ancient Egyptians considered their pharaohs gods. The Great Pyramid is a strange structure for a god. Small chambers, narrow shafts, no markings at all. The way the pyramid was built and the materials used to build it suggest it had a different purpose. The sides of the pyramid are aligned with the compass with such accuracy that only modern engineering can match it. The Great Pyramid is a mountain made of 2.5 million blocks of stone weighing 6 million tons, piled 481 feet high. Its footprint is over 13.
Wait, so they're made of stone? I always thought they were made of sand or something, like really hard sand or something.
Acres. To align this construction within 1/15th of a degree of true north is impossible precision.
Yeah, perfectly
The base of the Great Pyramid is leveled to within 3/4 of an inch. The only way to do this with modern structures is to use lasers. Even though the sides of the pyramid are over 755 feet long, made of stone blocks weighing between 2 and 40 tons each side is within 2 inches of any other.
Stone, not bricks.
That's 99.98% accurate. Fun fact, the pyramid doesn't have 4 sides. It actually has 8. Each side is slightly concave.
4 sides, 1, 2, 3. It has 8? How?
That you can only really see from directly above, or when the pyramid casts shadows.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Wait, so it's not triangular? It's more like a prism kind of thing. It has like lines in the middle too. So there's 8 sides? I always thought there were 4. What? Hi Spooky, welcome in.
During the equinoxes. And yes, those angles too are perfect.
Mind
Whoever built the
blown
pyramids somehow knew the size of the Earth. If you take the height of the pyramid and multiply it by 43,200, you get 3,938.685 miles, which is within 11 miles of the polar radius of the planet. That's 99.7% accurate. If you take the perimeter of the base of the pyramid and multiply that by 43,200, you get 24,734.94 miles. That's the Earth's circumference at the equator within 99.3% accuracy. We know that the ancients were obsessed with equinoxes, when the day and the night are the same lengths. The length of the day and night on an equinox is 43,200 seconds. Now, skeptics will say this relationship between 43,200 and the size of the Earth is forced. They say, well, the planet is different sizes in different places, so this is just a coincidence.
No, is this one of those episodes where we make the skeptics look like idiots?
A little bit, yeah.
Oh, good. I love those.
Don't gloat.
Oh, and the skeptics!
Skeptics?
Most of the Great Pyramid is constructed of nummulite limestone, the reddish-brown blocks that we see today. This rock is found close to the site and is abundant. But the builders of the pyramid also used unusual materials not found locally. The exterior of the pyramid was once covered in casing stones made of bright white limestone. They were polished smooth and fit together so tightly that no seams were visible. These casing stones were...
So they look like this inside, under all those brick-looking patterns, material stuff. So underneath they look like this. They're actually really smooth. Right? Whoa.
cut and shipped from a quarry in Tura, almost 500 miles away.
500
That's like
miles
carrying
away.
thousands of 10-ton stone blocks the length of the entire state of Florida. They must have been special. Unlike the limestone cut locally, Tura limestone lacks magnesium. This makes it an excellent
used to be the
insulator.
outside?
Limestone
Oh.
can carry an electrical current.
Oh.
Tura limestone can't. Interior chambers were built with a rare type of granite called rose granite, also brought from hundreds of miles away. This granite has a high concentration of silicon dioxide, also known as quartz. When quartz is compressed or even just moved, it creates a charge called piezoelectricity. One face of the quartz will have a positive charge, the other will have a negative charge.
Yeah.
Connect the two faces together and you have an electrical circuit. Because of this property, quartz is used in all kinds of modern devices like watches, clocks, TVs, GPS units, and on and on. To charge a watch that uses quartz,
Is that how there was electricity in the pyramids because of those quartz? Is that how they were able to like put lights in all those little tunnels and stuff? No.
all you have to do is shake it. And if you've ever used a barbecue lighter, the voltage is created by a quartz crystal. The king and queen's chambers were built with granite that is 85% quartz. The tunnels and passageways are also lined with quartz-rich granite. If pressure was applied to
Wow.
all this granite, it would generate a tremendous amount of electricity, turning the pyramid into a giant power plant.
Atomic
And there's
bomb?
proof that this is exactly what happened.
So the pyramid is a power plant. Oh, okay, so not like a bomb or anything, right? Right.
The idea that the Great Pyramid was a power plant is not new. It was first proposed in
I
the
got some
1970s.
seaweed. I
It
got some
was
seaweed.
and is considered a fringe theory.
Ooh, those are my favorite kind of theories.
I know.
The
Thank
fringier
you.
the better. Fringier? Fringier. No, that doesn't sound right. What's your problem?
Getting fringy.
Oh, I'm sorry. Is the show interrupting your train of thought?
Sarcasm, nice.
Well, what do you expect? I'm
Excuse
trying
me,
to
but
set
I
up
was
the show
actually trying
here,
to
and
be
it's not
supportive.
easy to do
There's
when
no
you're
reason
jumping
I
in
can
with
skip.
comments. As more and more discoveries were made over the years, more
Poor
evidence
guy.
emerged that the Great Pyramid as a power plant wasn't fringe science, but actual science. One of the most compelling cases comes from Christopher Dunn. He believes the process starts in
me
the
see you
subterranean
guys.
chamber. Below the pyramid are aquifers.
Good night,
As
nice.
water
Sweet
moves through the
dreams,
underground
good night.
cavities, sound waves are created.
Thank
The
you for
frequency
being
of
here,
these
nice.
waves resonate with the Earth's natural vibration. As those waves move up through the pyramid, a process is used to magnify, focus, and convert the sound into energy. The Queen's Chamber was used for a
Sound
chemical
into
reaction
energy.
that created hydrogen, and there's substantial proof of this. There are two interior shafts that lead to the Queen's Chamber. The northern shaft has
The middle?
traces of hydrochloric acid. The southern
Why
has
is there
traces of
acid?
hydrated zinc chloride.
Why is there zinc
Combining these
chloride?
two chemicals creates a volatile reaction that generates hydrogen. A lot of hydrogen. This hydrogen gas would flow from the Queen's Chamber through the horizontal passage and into the Grand Gallery. The
Why?
Grand Gallery is also made of granite. As the hydrogen gas builds up, the pressure compresses the granite, creating electricity. This
It's so crazy that I think about all of this. How did they come up with this whole thing? What the heck? It's a specific material, specific acid, specific rock. How did they come up with these things? And the little hallway, the size of the hallway, what?
electricity also ionizes the air, increasing conductivity. Within the Grand Gallery were 27 or 28 pairs of resonators that would vibrate and emit sound. The hydrogen atoms would
Resonators?
organize themselves into waves in sympathy with the sound waves of the gallery. These
Why?
sound waves further excite the stone, creating even more electricity.
Ooh, so let me get this straight. You stick the shafts into the Queen's Chamber, which gets the stones excited.
That's right, but somehow when you say it, it sounds dirty.
No comment.
I'm a naughty, naughty fish.
No
Acoustic engineers have determined the gallery resonates at
This is
440
accurate.
hertz
How
and
did they
naturally
know?
emits an F-sharp chord. 440 hertz and the F-sharp chord have been connected to a lot of woo-woo ideas, but there's a
Woo-woo.
reason for that.
Ooh.
It's considered a sound that resonates in harmony with
Sound
the
that
earth.
creates
The
electricity.
builders of the pyramid knew this. Longtime Mac users will recognize this sacred chord. At the top of the gallery is a small shaft leading to the king's chamber. The opening is 8.4 by 4.8 inches. This is the perfect size for hydrogen microwaves to pass into the king's chamber, which also
Interesting.
resonates at 440 hertz and F sharp. Above the king's chamber are 5 layers of granite beams, stacked and separated by air
Granite
gaps.
beams?
This is called the relieving
How do you think
chamber
about
because it was
all of
believed
this?
that this interior structure relieved the weight of the pyramid. That's not what it does. The beams are smooth on 3 sides, but rough cut on the top.
Why?
Christopher Dunn believes the reason for the rough cut is this is how the beams were tuned. The builders could vibrate the granite beams and slowly chip
Aliens.
away at the stone until they resonated with an F-sharp chord, which they do. The King's Chamber is what's known as a Helmholtz resonator. When you blow air across the top of a bottle and create sound, that's a Helmholtz resonator. Change the volume of liquid in the bottle, or change the volume of stone within the chamber, you change the pitch. The entire complex is a giant musical instrument. Now, some skeptics reluctantly agree that the Great Pyramid
It's a
has
musical
properties,
instrument?
but for skeptics to consider the pyramid as a
The pyramid is a giant instrument. What? Do you think people back in there are smart enough? I don't know. I live under rocks. I have sight. Everything is so shocking to me. Everything is so shocking to me. What? Wait, back in the day they're that smart? Oh my lord. Engineers and doctors back in the day? How do you think about all of that? The whole thing is an instrument. The rocks, the sound waves, the electricity stuff.
power plant, they would need evidence to show that a giant stone pyramid would respond to electromagnetic energy. There was no evidence of
Like an
that
electric
until
violin.
2018. Whether true or not, it's scientifically possible
Seaweed.
that the Great Pyramid was a structure for creating, harnessing, and focusing energy. The exterior was made of material that insulates electricity. The interior was made of material that conducts electricity. The chambers were made of material that creates electricity. The next piece of evidence is the pyramid's ability to focus EM energy. In 2018, scientists used radio waves at different frequencies to see if the Great Pyramid would interact with electromagnetic waves of a resonant length. Their
That's so
experiments
beautiful.
proved that in a resonant state, the pyramid can concentrate electromagnetic energy in the internal chambers as well as under its base. Resonance in the
Whoa.
pyramid can be induced by radio waves
Look
with
at
the
that.
lengths ranging from 200 to 600 meters. The closer to 200 meters, the more dramatic the effect.
That whole thing
a
is
year
a
after that, in
powerhouse.
2019,
Oh my
Eric Wilson
lord.
published a paper called A Large-Scale Thermal Acoustic Generator. The paper describes how
Like actual electricity in the desert? What? Isn't the desert supposed to be a place where there's no electricity, no food, no water, no nothing? You know? That's like a whole powerhouse. This is how you get electricity.
when granite and other rocks are vibrated, electrons will migrate through the rock and up to the surface. By combining science and music,
That's
the builders
genius.
of the pyramid created a power-generating machine tuned to the natural harmonic of the Earth's vibration that primarily comes from the tidal energy
From the Earth's vibration.
created by the moon's gravity. This technology created
And by the moon's gravity. How do you think about all of this stuff? What?
thousands of years ago could generate unlimited clean energy. But how did they get the energy out? That brings us back to Tesla. His Wardenclyffe Tower was built on top of an aquifer, with copper and iron rods extending
Wait,
down
this is
into
real?
the water. When electricity
Where
was
is this?
sent into the tower, it
Whoa.
was to be transmitted around the world through the atmosphere. The pyramid is also built on an aquifer.
That
And
whole
copper
thing is
pipes
a
and iron
powerhouse.
rods have recently been discovered there. If the capstone was made of gold, the energy concentrated inside the pyramid would have been drawn to the top and transmitted to the atmosphere. Tesla's wireless power distribution system used the resonance of the Earth, just like the pyramid. And just like the pyramid, the energy generated by Tesla's tower would be unlimited, clean, and virtually free for everyone on the planet. But Tesla's tower was destroyed by outside forces. There's evidence
So he's able to get energy in the natural way? He's able to get energy in the natural way? What?
that the Great Pyramid was destroyed from within.
But somebody destroys his tower. If you're too smart, the government will come after you guys. I don't know. Remember the video we watched? The corporations try to patent everything? No question is what they managed to figure out but didn't wrote down and records were lost. Yeah. What the heck?
In the year 1900, Nikola Tesla convinced JP Morgan to fund a
Let me
project
too,
to create
Hikari.
a
I was
wireless
thinking about
communication
all of
system.
this.
When Tesla received the funding, he decided to scale up the project. Rather than transmit messages around the world, he would transmit power. Tesla had already demonstrated that wireless power would work on a small scale. He famously had light bulbs scattered on the ground that would illuminate when a Tesla coil was activated nearby.
Whoa.
Now he wanted to go bigger. He explained this world-changing technology to JP Morgan and asked him for more money to complete the project. Rather than support Tesla, Morgan pulled his funding, claiming breach of contract. JP
Who's that
Morgan
guy
owned
again?
General Electric.
Oh, he owns General Electric. What was I was about to ask? His name is familiar. I've heard his name a lot, but what is he again?
Which would be made obsolete. He owned AT&T, which would also become obsolete. JP Morgan owned copper mines all over the world, and his factories generated miles of copper wire.
Whoa.
JP Morgan owned rubber farms and factories that created insulation for wire. He owned steel companies and factories that built power generators. He owned timber mills that created telegraph and electricity poles. He owned coal mines that fueled existing power plants, and he owned 24 railroads that transported all these resources around the country.
Oh my
None of this
word.
would be necessary if Tesla created free, unlimited wireless power. For several years, Tesla wrote JP Morgan almost every month, begging him to reconsider. He wouldn't. Instead, JP Morgan chose to finance Tesla's competitors, Edison and Marconi, who were improving on and getting rich from Tesla's inventions. And not only did JP Morgan refuse any further investment, but he also put out word to everyone in the wealthy investor class that Tesla should be avoided. He was essentially...
Okay, let me get this straight. So Tesla created like natural energy from like vibration in the earth or something. And then the other companies that were making power generators didn't like that because now that, you know, they can't make money off of that because Tesla just figured it out. We don't need all of this resource material and stuff, right? So now they don't like it and they try to like buy his invention and stuff, and he was like, nope. And then now this guy, I think him, JP Morgan or something, is it him? He was like telling everybody to avoid him, don't help him or something, stuff like that, right? Right? Is that right, chat? I don't know.
Actually blacklisted. By 1915, Tesla had accumulated so much debt that the bank foreclosed on the Wardenclyffe property. The tower was demolished in 1917 and sold for scrap. The project was never completed. Tesla was a genius, but he was at a disadvantage. Men like Edison and Marconi knew how to bring Tesla's inventions to market. They knew how to make technology accessible. And most of all, they knew how to play the game. You don't bite the hand that feeds you. That's why 84% of the world's energy is created from fossil fuels. It's also why Tesla died alone and broke. It's possible that the Great Pyramid suffered some catastrophic event that caused it to stop working. In addition to hydrochloric acid, there are traces of sulfuric acid in the southern shaft. In the northern shaft, there's zinc chloride and ammonium chloride. These chemicals can create hydrogen without being mixed, but if you do combine ammonium chloride with sulfuric acid, you get more than a reaction. You get an explosion. Because of the structure of the pyramid, this explosion could be controlled.
What the heck?
But there's evidence that an uncontrolled explosion may have occurred. In 2001, in the Grand Gallery, scorch marks were discovered in the ceiling above where the resonator...
He said his buddy's apartments were a spy hideout. He died next to a ton of spies. That's so scary. He could have been the richest man in the world. But these other companies think of him as competition and then didn't want him there, you know? So they try to ruin his life and kept him there. So they don't stop harassing him and all that stuff. That's so sad.
Would have been. In the King's Chamber, cracks have been found in the granite beams. At first, this was thought to be...
You see, this is why smart people don't tell people they're smart because, yeah, things happen. I don't know. It's just, I think this is why people don't say, oh, I'm smart, and then everybody has their eye on that person. You know what I mean?
Caused by an earthquake. But the damage was only found in areas of the pyramid where the flow of highly compressed, heated hydrogen occurred. The walls in the king's chamber have been pushed out over an inch.
Heated
It takes
hydrogen.
a lot of pressure to push tons of granite out that far. The Great Step outside the king's chamber also shows extensive damage
Hi,
like that from an
Kira.
explosion,
Welcome in.
not an earthquake. Other parts of the interior also show signs of charring. When the southern
Charring.
shaft was discovered, it was coated with salt about an inch thick.
Salt
This
as
would
well?
happen if hydrogen was boiling and bubbling up the shaft.
Ew, is
what
that
caused the
hydrogen?
pyramid power
Why is
plant
it
to
gray?
explode is not known. But Christopher Dunn believes it was some sort of cataclysm, not an earthquake, but maybe an asteroid impact. There's a problem with this theory, though. The ancient Egyptians kept meticulous records of everything. There is no record of an impact during this time.
Yeah, isn't that a
Dunn
historical
believes it
record?
happened thousands of years earlier.
Look how cool that is. Wait, go back. The Egyptian writings on the wall? That is so cool. How did they even do that? There were artists back then. Whoa. What the? Look at this. Is this his new YouTube thing? Is this a new YouTube feature? Why does it look like that?
Dunn believes it happened thousands of years earlier. And that brings me to this thought.
What?
Skeptics will say if the ancient Egyptians used electricity, there would be documentation, even hard evidence of it. You'll see true believers point to glyphs that look like light bulbs.
Wait, so Egyptians created the pyramid, and the pyramid is a powerhouse. So wouldn't Egyptians be the first people to discover electricity? Right? No? No? Wait, doesn't that mean they knew what electricity was? No? It was like that for quite a while, really?
But I honestly think that's a stretch. There's no evidence the Egyptians worked with glass or any components used to make a light bulb. So why
Yeah.
is there no evidence of the use of electricity in ancient Egypt?
Yeah.
And no record of electricity being generated by the Great Pyramid?
Yeah.
Well, because the ancient Egyptians didn't build it.
Huh?
There really is no debate by mainstream
They didn't make
academics
it?
about the who, when, why,
So Egyptians didn't make the pyramid, then who did?
or how of the Great Pyramid. It was built by ancient Egyptians in 4500 BC as a tomb for Khufu, and that's that. But what if none of that is true?
I thought it was just
What
a
if the
tomb.
ancient Egyptians didn't build the pyramid, but found it? And when they found it, it had been dormant for
So they didn't build it, they found it?
years, maybe thousands of years. Graham Hancock is a proponent of the Orion constellation theory. This says the Great Pyramid complex is almost
So the pyramid was in a powerhouse this whole time. But the Egyptians didn't know about it, so that's why they didn't record it on the walls and stuff, because they don't know if it was a thing. They don't know about it. But so would it be a theory that they found this pyramid, so the pyramid was here before them, wasn't it? I actually heard the pyramids were older, right? Really? Hi, it's welcome in. How you doing?
a perfect match for the stars in the Orion constellation.
Perfect.
But they don't line up to where Orion is today. They line up with where Orion was in the sky 13,500 years ago.
I thought they built
We've
it.
discussed how the builders were obsessed
Built
with
it.
equinoxes. The Sphinx faces due east.
Wait, what about this one? Isn't this tomb as well? What is this then? Did they build this? They built this, right? So they didn't build the pyramid, but did they build this? Yeah? Is that a powerhouse? Is this a powerhouse? No. What is this then? Who built this? Did they found that? They totally did not just found that one.
And on the vernal equinox, the constellation that rose due east 13,500 years ago was Leo. Now,
Conspiracy
I'll
theory?
concede the astronomical evidence could be a coincidence, but there is hard evidence that these structures are older than originally thought. You can't carbon date limestone, but there are clues that the pyramid and the Sphinx have been there for a long, long time. Robert Schock from Boston University
What?
believes
Did
the
they build
Sphinx
it?
and Giza complex is about 13,500 years old. Giza has been an extremely dry climate since the time of the pharaohs, but the Sphinx shows signs not only of wind and sand erosion, but also extreme water erosion. The erosion patterns around the base of the Sphinx could only occur if huge volumes of water are washing over the plateau at violent speeds. There's evidence this
Water.
happened at the end of the Younger Dryas,
There's
which marked
water
the
in the
end of the
desert?
last ice age in 9700 BC. Glaciers were thought to have melted rapidly. Within a few centuries, sea levels rose 500 feet. This is fast in geologic time. But as more evidence was gathered, melting appeared to happen in a matter of decades. This would cause dramatic changes in the Earth's climate. But when recent ice core samples were
It's
studied,
just a statue?
things
Okay.
got even more dramatic. There's evidence that the last ice age didn't end over centuries or decades, but ended in one single day.
What? The whole thing ended in one single day?
Some claim that an asteroid impact caused the last ice age to end. A worldwide disaster like the
dinosaurs?
Chicxulub impact that wiped out the dinosaurs.
Like dinosaurs?
That's not what happened.
No?
An impact causes cooling. Recent studies show that there was a major solar event that happened around 9700 BC,
Stretching.
basically the mother of all CMEs. A violent
Whoa.
plasma storm hit the Earth and overwhelmed the Earth's magnetosphere, which is our defense against solar radiation. Without the protection of the
Plasma
magnetosphere, massive lightning strikes happened all over the Earth. Lightning that was orders of magnitude more intense than anything we've ever seen.
No
This
way, is that
lightning was
real?
hundreds or even thousands of times more powerful than anything from a thunderstorm.
That's so
There's
scary.
evidence in over 120 countries of rock melted and turned to glass during this event. This is called vitrification. There's evidence of vitrification
Rocks melted and turned to glass during this time.
in moon rocks. We know for a fact large mammals like saber-toothed tigers and woolly mammoths
Aren't
were
those,
wiped
like,
out
extinct?
at this time.
Yeah, they're extinct,
They didn't
right?
slowly go extinct. They instantly went extinct. During the 4 or 5 days of this event, the Earth was also awash in lethal radiation. Only animals that can go underground survived. Most of the human race died during this event. Only humans living near caves were able to find shelter and survive. If glaciers, which covered 30% of the Earth's surface, melted in a day or two, think of the speed, volume, and pressure of water that would rush across the Earth's surface. This water would act like a power washer on stone constructions like the Sphinx and
Power
pyramids.
wash.
Meanwhile, a sky full of plasma and lightning
You
and
doubt
radiation
this?
would have severely damaged the Great Pyramid if it was using a volatile chemical reaction to create power. Every culture has a flood myth that served as a reset of civilization. All those stories seem to point to a cataclysm at the end of the Younger Dryas. Myths of lost continents like Atlantis also fit into this timeline. Now, I'm not claiming anything I've said today is what happened, but I am saying there's evidence that it was possible that an advanced civilization existed thousands of years ago. That civilization
So electricity, something of it back in the dinosaur day, the ice age day. So there was a civilization before the Egyptians that built the pyramid, which had electricity in it, but the Egyptians are the one who just found the pyramid. They didn't really build it. Is that what I'm learning here? Whoa, there's so much information in this one video.
had the technology to create unlimited clean energy. Then the glaciers melted, a great flood came, solar plasma and radiation destroyed a significant amount of life on the planet.
Oh my
The
lord.
civilization then disappeared. Then
Hey,
thousands
Stretch.
of years later, as the great Egyptian culture was forming, they would have utilized the pyramid, not for power, but for ceremonial or religious purposes.
statue.
They would have altered the Sphinx, carving away the
Is this a head? Is this a person's head, right? I know, like in cartoons they show like a cat head and a dog head. I don't know, dog head or something. This is a real person, right? What happened to the nose? What the heck? Shouldn't there be like a nose right here? Maybe it broke. Maybe.
original design.
Sorry, chat. I live under a rock sometimes. Okay. Sometimes these things are so shocking to me. Okay, so if you see me asking stupid questions, I apologize in advance. I live under a rock. I'm trying to learn more about the world, okay? Is older. Our ancestors, mummies most likely had mummies. We think old is old, but it's not. It's older than that. That's so interesting. I thought the Egyptians made this out of sand or something this whole time. He has strings on his board behind him. You had to make YouTube videos about something, I guess. Yeah, that makes sense. That makes sense. This is type of content. All his videos get millions of views. It's like every single one get millions of views. Like he's so good at editing and everything. Like, you know, I heard someone say just because you can't comprehend it doesn't mean it's not true. And that sinks with me into today. Yeah. sometimes just because you can't see it doesn't mean it's not there, and just because you see it doesn't mean it's there. Sometimes I think it always depends on the situation. I think, yeah, always depends. Oh, this is interesting, but I'm just a brain rot as the history teachers if they watch this. Yeah, me too. I'm like, what the heck? I never knew any of this.
And replacing it with a design of their own. And we know this is what they did. Mainstream.
And I'm learning a lot just by working in the hospitals with real people, learning how to talk to people, seeing what they think, looking at these patients, learning about all these illnesses and symptoms that I haven't even heard or learned before, you know? Definitely an eye-opener for sure. But I feel like I'm inside the house a lot, always in my books and studying, and I am trying to be more street smart though, you know, learning about stuff. I've never really traveled outside of my state as well, so I'm kind of living under a rock as well. Yeah. And I get shy when talking to people, but I'm coming out of my shell more, for sure.
Scientists are still not convinced.
I live under a rock.
As time goes on and more secrets are revealed, sooner or later, we will learn the truth. And I suspect we'll learn that the pyramid power plant theory was right all along. Whoever built the pyramids created energy that wasn't harmful to the earth, but resonated in harmony with it. A suspicious person might wonder why, if this theory has been around for 50 years, nobody's tried to replicate it, even on a small scale. Unlimited clean energy for everyone on Earth sounds like a way for the entire human race to take a huge step forward. Think of the technological advances that could be made if electricity was free. Think of the...
You guys see this one? I want to do like VR stuff, but like...
Logical advances that could be made if electricity was...
VR stuff with you guys, but like with all this up here, like anatomy stuff. Wouldn't that be cool?
Free. Think of the political strife, economic instability, and the endless wars that could be avoided. But maybe what's happening now is what happened to Tesla 100 years ago. In Tesla's time, nobody was interested in creating technology that would make power free for everyone. Empires owned by J.P. Morgan, the Vanderbilts, and the Rockefellers would have been devastated. The Carnegies, the DuPonts, and the Mellons all would have seen significant losses. These families owned all the energy production and distribution in the United States.
Rich people.
Their companies were the lifeblood of American industry. The families were American royalty. If Tesla was able to achieve his vision, not only would the wealth of these families be diminished, so would America's standing in the world as a great new industrial power.
Tesla the weird.
Tesla said he wanted to bring abundant electrical energy to remote, underdeveloped parts of the world to foster closer communication between nations. This couldn't be allowed to happen. America and the corporations that controlled it would never have given up their advantage. They still won't.
Why?
When Tesla died, the FBI and agents of the OSS were, for some reason, close by. Tesla's documents were stored in 80 boxes, all organized and numbered by Tesla himself. Only 60 boxes were discovered. And since then, a few scientists have stated that Tesla's invention would have never worked. But that's what scientists said of most of his inventions. Viewers of this channel know that most science is bought and paid for by corporations and governments. This is especially true in the last couple of years.
Get the jab!
Right.
Another jab! Another jab! Another!
Yep.
Whether those jabs work or not, you human pincushions are making people rich.
Oh, there's no doubt about that.
The rich get richer, the poor get poorer. I hate that. Why are we here just to suffer? Why are we here just to suffer? Everything will get the benefit of the doubt for me, but just sometimes that doubt doesn't last very long. Zoo book tiger poster. Yeah, Tesla. Remi the cyberners. It won't be free. Stuff still needs maintenance. Yeah, there's always going to be people trying to make money off of everything.
80% of the products we use today can be traced back to Tesla. But the technology that we really need, now more than ever, is inexpensive, clean energy. Sadly, that technology died with Tesla. Instead, the world went in the direction of coal and oil, and nations fought and continue to fight wars to control these limited resources. Oil, coal, and war may be terrible for the planet and the people who live on it, but they're great for business, and for all his genius, that's something Nikola Tesla never understood.
Smart people.
Thank you so much for hanging out with me today. My name is AJ. That's
Why do smart
Hecklefish. This has
people
been the
suffer?
Y Files. If you had fun or learned anything, do us a favor and like, subscribe.